Hello there. It's time to learn how we're gonna phrase with single notes and do it slowly and expressive. That's what today's topic is about. If you're watching the replay, just fast forward 18 minutes and the lesson will start. Let's go. Devon, what's up? Dead Man's Wife on YouTube, what's up? Portrait 935 on Instagram, what's up? Oh, yeah. So that's a little intro for you there. Now, I can see we have some people here. Fred, what's up? Deban, thank you so much for the support, man. Rivash on Facebook, I am your super fan. Thanks so much, man. And we got, I think, some people on Instagram as well. Steinhard Taxel, what's up? Good to see you. And yeah, 12 minutes, we'll start speaking about how you can start improvising with single notes and keep it really simple, but still make it sound really cool. And playing with just, one note at a time and being expressive is something I think anybody could start doing from the beginning, at least start working on it. In many ways, it's more accessible than the fast stuff. So hopefully this should be a lesson that everyone will benefit from. And we're almost there, just 12 minutes left. Dead Man's Wife, thank you so much for digging. And I'm basically just grabbing some backing tracks from the GMC website. I particularly like this epic ballad series by Javier Aviles. Lots of cool backing tracks here. So, I don't know, maybe try something ethnic. Nice, but I'd like something sad. E minor. I'm gonna go to his profile here and see what we can find. And this could be cool. Metal ballad. Let's try this. Ooh, this is nice. So I think there's going to be a key change here. We'll keep track of that. It says down here. Also some scale suggestions here. Well, let's try this. E major 7. We'll see how it works out. Non-Lenda. I am not AI. I wish I was as smart, but I'm not. Hello, FC from Thailand. What's up, Poke? Okay, so see if we can play to this. Iledian White. Pretty nice. See if there's a key change coming up, I think. No? Whoops. Yeah, so it's always a bit adventurous to find them on the fly. Generous. Okay, so let's see how we're doing here. Just 8 minutes left until we kick off with our lesson. I'm gonna see, I think there are more backing tracks here. minor. I'm tuned down a half step, so I'm just going to go to D sharp minor. I thought I was going to do that. That didn't work. Oh, I'm tuned down 2 steps, I think. No. If I'm confused, or maybe this should be D flat minor. Yeah, I think it should be D flat minor. We were just heating up and then we got an error. Damn it. Well, back onto it. I think we had a question there. We can take one of those. What software am I using? Relic Enterprise is asking that on YouTube. So I'm not using any software for the sound. This is just my tube amp you're hearing, which is mic'd up. Maybe you're asking about the streaming software or the backing track I'm just using from the GMC website. And I'm mixing it all in the streaming software, which is called Prism Live Studio. So no software to generate the sound. Let's see. Is Instagram saying anything? No, Instagram is silent. So I think we had some other. Let's see what more we have. So I like the ballads. The metal ballads, nice. Epic ballads was nice. I think Neo Soul is cool as well. Let's try that. So I was wrong before, and the backing track was correctly labeled. It's just that I'm tuned down a half step. This is nice. C minor. Oh, a little bit of a key change there, I think. So C minor. Okay, E5 minor. Very nice backing track here. Okay, but we're quickly reaching our goal here of starting the phrasing lesson. And if you did enjoy any of my playing so far, you will enjoy this one. And we're starting right now. Awesome. Okay, so, are we gonna get some noise from the timer? No, we didn't. Okay, so, just see if I can remove this. The computer is a little bit tired, but I think we're getting on here. Okay, so about the topic of today, I often find or hear students or just guitarists in general basically dismiss the technique involved in like slow expressive phrasing. Think David Gilmour as, well, just, find a good sound and do some bending and you're good. And that's an extreme oversimplification of how to kind of manage and practice, slow phrasing, which is expressive and melodic and nice to listen to. So I thought that in today's lesson, we're going to start breaking that down. It's a huge topic, so I'll try to, prioritize the most obvious points to explain first. And that is I'll start with the sound aspect because that's something a lot of people are asking about. And sound is certainly important, but maybe not in the way you think. So first of all, the sound I'm using when I do slow phrasing, the most important part for me is that it's responsive to whatever I'm doing with the right hand. And that has to do with the guitar being a relatively non-dynamic instrument, meaning If you compare with vocals or like wind instruments, you can go from really soft to super loud, and that's harder to do with a guitar, but it's possible. So that's kind of the number one check of your sound. Can you go from super soft to really loud? Let's try it. That's okay. Now, of course, there are some limitations in what you can hear from what I'm doing now, because you're not going to catch the dynamics the same way you would if you were sitting in my room. But it's going from soft to loud, and it inspires me to play. Now, you can do that. You don't need a tube amp. I'm using a tube amp. But the good thing with a lot of the modern modelers is that they're really good at doing this. They might not feel the same as a tube amp, but they're definitely dynamic. And when you hit soft, you can get a soft note. When you hit hard, you can get a loud note. Now, the next step is, of course, getting a note that not only is loud when you hit it hard, but which is actually distorting a little bit. Think, Andy Timmons, It's a little bit loud. I don't know if that came out as distorted to you guys, but when I hit it hard, I get a little bit of distortion. And that's also cool, but it's not a necessity. So that's the number one thing. And this is important because you want to be giving yourself as much advantage as possible. So if you have a dynamic sound, then you can play the same phrase using different types of dynamics, and you're going to get different sounding licks without changing any notes. And let me show you what I mean by that. If I'm playing like a fairly basic lick, I can accent different notes there. I could do, or I could do, depending on which note I'm accenting, it sounds different. It's a bit like if I were speaking and I was saying, I really like your cake. You can hear I'm hungry. So I could say, I really like your cake, or I really like your cake. I really like your cake. That's a similar thing, right? These are important nuances. If you don't have that in your playing, you're basically gonna be speaking like this, and it's gonna be really boring, and no one will want to listen to you for a long time. And it's really obvious to you. It should be obvious to you as well when you're playing, but for some reason it's not. And people play like this, although no one wants to listen to this because it's super boring. It's the same thing, right, when you're playing. So if I were speaking like that, I'm sure you'd all be gone in seconds. So it's the same with your playing. You don't want it to be like super static and having the same dynamics. You want it to go naturally up and down. That's super important. And you need to have a sound which allows that. And if you have lots of distortion, you're probably not going to get that. But if you have a good modeler or just a modern modeler, maybe find like a super clean Fender profile and turn the master volume up and turn the gain down. If you have that option, then you will get a dynamic profile. Okay, so now anyhow, you guys are saying funny stuff on YouTube. I can't help myself from laughing. Anyhow, so that's number one. But once you have a dynamic sound, then you need to learn how to control it. But it has to come in this order. And that's why some people, when they play tube amp, they're like, oh, wow, this is so different. I sound like crap. Yeah, it is a little bit different to control. But once you have control of that, it's like getting a super powerful new engine, which is just going to, roar at the touch of a button. Or, it's the same thing. When you have an amp that responds to your dynamics, again, may it be, like a modeler or a tube amp. Okay, so now once you have that, you got to learn how to control that, and that will sort of come naturally. Especially if you play a tube amp, you're going to have to adapt because it reacts so differently from your playing. So that means being able to hit one note hard and soft. Soft is usually easier than hard, because if you hit the string hard, you run a greater risk of hitting the other strings. So in order to be able to play both soft and hard, you also need to be in control of muting, especially muting the unwanted adjacent strings. So that if you're going to hit one single note hard, you don't want to get this sound, right? You want just one note ringing. And in order to do that, you're going to have to start thinking about touching the adjacent strings with, hope you can see a little bit of this. So if I'm hitting the G string, I'm also touching the B and the E string. And with my right hand palm, I'm trying to touch the thicker strings here, so that I'm really just playing the G string, even though I might be hitting a few other strings. Of course, the more control you get, the less important this is gonna be. But chances are you will benefit either way from having like a good muting technique, because it's going to be your backup in regardless of what situation you're in. I mean, let's face it, most of us have probably felt that, hey, I can play really well when I'm sitting on my own, but when I'm playing in front of an audience, everything feels difficult. And that's when you need all those backup plans. You know, even if you hit the wrong string when you're in front of an audience, it can still sound okay because you got this backup technique in terms of muting. Okay, so now we've established that. A dynamic sound, super important. Once you have that, you got to learn how to control it. And that is done with soft and loud picking and the whole spectrum in between. And in order to control the louder picking, you need also to start gaining some control of the adjacent strings. That's super important, so you can mute them. So we've got that out of the way. That is probably one of the more important aspects if you want to get those dynamics and not speak like this all the time, which we said was very boring. No one wants to listen to this. We need dynamics when we play as well, or else you will sound like this when you play and no one will want to listen to you. Okay, I think I made my point. So we've done that. Now I'm sure some people would argue, well, speak about so evil against my host. I'm recording this to sell it as a class online. Hey man, you're ruining my stream. Anyhow, I'm sure some people are gonna say, well, bending, vibrato, right? Yeah, you know, that's important. And it is important. Maybe not the way people think. I think vibrato is important because regardless of what you're playing, if you're going to rest on any note on the guitar, chances are it's going to sound a little bit out of tune because the guitar is almost impossible to intonate perfectly. So it doesn't matter if you're playing slow phrasing or fast metal and you're going to rest on a note. Or, you know, that note is going to sound out of tune, most likely. So if you don't have any vibrato, you're just going to sound like shit. So vibrato is a must regardless of what you're doing, at any time you're resting on a note. Now, the other thing is bending. Bending is a very expressive tool, and bending is actually the opposite, I would say, in a way, from vibrato, because vibrato is important to hide your imperfections. Whereas with bending, you play with the imperfection. With bending, you can actually give the listener a bit of out of tune, but in a very controlled way. And that's totally going to grab their attention. Okay? So two super important topics that are related technically. After all, you can't really do vibrato if you don't have control of your bending technique. In fact, when I do explain vibrato and bending, I pretty much explain them as being the same thing. But in this context, they are not. Vibrato here is really just to mask up a long note that is going to sound out of tune, whereas bending is a super effective way to consciously give the listener a note that goes out of tune. Maybe it reaches a good pitch, maybe not, doesn't really matter as long as you're in control. And here, the most obvious example, which I'm going to try to show you over a backing track, is going to be pre-bending. Let's see if I can find the backing track I started off with. Okay. Now, pre-bending is one of my all-time favorite techniques for this kind of playing, and the reason being, even if you bend a little bit out of tune, it's going to sound awesome because you're not resting on the pitch. You're bending it up before you hit the note. So if I'm bending the 12th fret on the B string, I'll be fretting with the ring finger, and then I'll be fretting with the middle and the index finger, like this. These two fingers are here to help me bend. Or actually, a little correction there. I'm bending with these two fingers, and the index finger is there to help me mute the unwanted strings. So I might do this. And I am reaching a pitch higher up, like that. But even if I go a bit out of tune, it doesn't really matter as much. Just listen to this. I was out of... pretty much out of tune there, but it still sounds awesome because I'm not resting on it. If I were resting on it, you'd hear that it sounds bad. That's fine. That sounds horrible. But... and this is actually a method used by skilled singers as well. You know, when they hit the wrong pitch, they're just like adjusting it on the fly and then turning it into a vibrato. So a bit like this, you know. Sound like that to just hide the fact that they were a bit sharp. Usually it sounds worse when you're sharp, and that's why it's so effective just go down to pitch. Where if you're a little bit flat, so under the pitch, you can usually get away with just slightly raising the pitch, and it's not even going to sound bad. You're just adjusting it. If you're a little sharp, that's the thing that can sort of cut in the ears. Yes, bending, super important, and my absolute favorite way of bending is that pre-bend. So just to wrap up, I fret with the ring finger, I support with the middle finger, and I mute with the index finger. I pre-bend, so that means I'm gonna bend before I hit the string, and then I hit the string, and I release. Now, in order to practice pre-bend at the right pitch, you would first play a reference pitch, maybe a whole step up. So I'm playing the 14. I'm trying to reach that with a regular bend. And then I try to somehow memorize approximately where I was. And then I do a pre-bend and release it. This is a different topic. This is the foundation of practicing bending. We're not really going to go into depth here, but you'll hopefully just be happy to hear that in this specific case, you can bend a little bit out of tune and it can still sound awesome as long as you do a pre-bend and release it right away. You don't want to pre-bend and stay on the note, because if you do that, you really have to be in control of pitch. Okay, so lots of information here. I hope you guys are somewhat following me. Elas, this is not a Fender guitar, it's an Ibanez guitar. Okay, so we've already covered a lot of important ground here, and I mean, each of these topics are huge. I could definitely go into depth here. I just want to cover one last thing here, and I was thinking a little bit, maybe I should do this first, because I think this might be the most important one, and especially the most overlooked one. But it's also the one that's going to be hardest for you to actually use. And some of you watching this are probably going to think Chris is just speaking nonsense. But it's the timing of the notes. And I'm not speaking about whether you're playing 8 notes, triplets, or that kind of thing. That's important too. But here I'm speaking about micro timing. So whether you are right on the beat or whether you are like slightly before the beat or slightly after. And when you play slowly, a lot of time what you want to do is play behind the beat. So it's going to sound like you're always a little bit late. You know, that's not always true, but I find that most of the cases that sounds best. And then what you're going to do is kind of catch up to the beat in your phrases. So I'm gonna see if I can try to showcase that. So if I'm playing kind of straight on the beat, you know, that's on the beat. If I try to, that's behind the beats, you know. And also I played slightly different beat subdivisions and all that, but the feeling was that I was sort of lagging and always being a little bit behind. And for that to work, at some point you gotta catch up with the beat, otherwise it just sounds like you're off. And to remind you, the best way to sound really bad is to constantly play off the beat and constantly play out of tune. That's how you recognize a beginner. You know, those are the two things that make you sound bad. So therefore you also need, regardless of whether you're going to do slow phrasing or fast phrasing or metal or pop or strumming chords, you got to work on your intonation, your tuning. So you want to be in tune, whether it be chordal work or whether it be single note work. And you really want to play in time. If you do those two things, then you can play in a professional setting. And most of us practice for years and we can't even achieve those two. It's hard. So that really matters for slow phrasing as well, but it's a little bit different because a lot of times you're going to sound good if you play behind the beat, provided you catch up at some point. With many other styles of playing, you can't afford to be behind the beat all the time. It usually sounds better if you're slightly behind the beat, but you can't do it as exaggerated, I think, as when you're playing slowly. Okay, that was my point. And some of you are probably thinking, well, this doesn't make any sense at all. You know, I barely practice with the metronome, so how the heck could I, you know, play slightly behind the beat? And you'd be right. That is why you have to learn the rules in order to break them. So that is why you should practice with the metronome as much as possible. And it's not really until you're comfortable playing in time that you can actually start to elaborate with micro timing. And maybe I should do just a shameless plug here and show you one of the courses that I designed with one of the instructors here, which I think is called Micro Techniques. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. And here's exactly what we wanted to explain. Micro bending, micro dynamics and tonality, and here it is, micro timing. That's a topic I haven't seen explained in many places because it's so, well, it's a pretty advanced topic. But the thing is, it doesn't seem advanced. Many people just dismiss it as being useless, but this is really what makes a difference on a pro level. And it's also why I chose to include it here, to give you a taste. This is important stuff. So if you're not even practicing your regular stuff with the metronome, you will not get to this point, right? This kind of thing you can only apply once you know that you can play in time. That's when you can start breaking the timing rules. Okay, this is a pretty massive lesson by now, so I think I'm gonna break here and just see what you guys are saying. But hopefully you got a lot of content here to work with, or a lot of ideas to work with. We spoke about tone, about dynamics, and then we spoke about how to utilize these dynamics. In other words, how you can be in control with your dynamic sound, how you can be in control so that sometimes you can play soft and sometimes you can play loud, so that we can shift the accents, so that you don't play like this all the time, because this is boring to listen to. Okay. And then we spoke about bending and vibrato, both important things for different purposes here. And finally, we spoke about micro timing, which I think is a super important thing. And the reason why I might think that is important is because it's probably the area I struggle with most myself. I try to improve at all other things that I've spoken about, but timing has always been an area where I feel I need to get better, you know, or really get much better, not just a little bit better. So yeah, okay, well, let's see what you guys are saying. He did it. He did the thing. I did. I answered the question, I guess. Let's see. I hope the stream isn't lagging. I get some complaints here. I hope it's working. My computer does seem a little bit tired, I must admit, but CPU is fine. Okay, can you play the notes inverted? Not sure what you mean by that. Like maybe an inverted arpeggio or something. Okay, and I think Did Man's Wife did explain my accent thing. That's a good. Thank you for clarifying in text. The answer is still no. That's right. So what Dead Man's Wife is saying, just showing the difference between like, Dad, can I have a raise in my allowance, or can I have a raise in my allowance? Dad, can I have a raise in my allowance? Exactly. And oh yeah, I should also say that a lot of the backing tracks or lessons I've used on GMC all have free backing tracks. So if you want to check it out, you can just search for Jam Room, and you're going to get many of these backing tracks for free on the GMC site. What if you invent a new sound altogether? Do you patent it or give it to the people? Well, I don't know how I would give it to the people. I have done a little bit of Kemper profiling, and I have some free profiles on my site. But I don't know. I guess I haven't really considered myself to be innovative enough to even think about that in terms of sound. I'm just happy if I find a sound that inspires me to play, and I never really kind of gauge if it's innovative or not. Just, does it inspire me to play? Well, then it serves its purpose. Maybe boring, I don't know, but that's how I work. Yeah, so do let me know if the stream is choppy. I don't know why my computer feels so slow. Maybe there's an issue somewhere. Hopefully it did work. Maybe I should just listen back to myself a little bit. Yeah, so do let me know if the stream is choppy. I don't know why my computer feels so slow. Maybe there's an issue somewhere. Hopefully it did work. I sound so mature. Okay, so I think I'm gonna take a little practice pause myself so I can show you how this works in practice, the exact things we've spoken about here, and hopefully you can do the same thing yourself. Actually, come on, are you gonna stop? Andrew, quick question. I just tried a friend's very cheap guitar. Forgot how these feel. I noticed on high. Wait, I got a freaking window front, so I can't see what you guys are saying. We had a cool question there. Hello there, Rayman on Instagram. My computer is slow to the point of not being usable. Let's just check the activity monitor here and see what the heck is happening. So Prism, oh, there's a freaking Windows server. That must be my Chrome Windows. Shut down things down here. I don't have that much open. Closing down some stuff here, see if that's going to improve. Anything at all, anything at all. Okay. No lag. Okay, great. YouTube is fine. Thank you for confirming. Confirmation arrived so late because everything is slow here. Hi, Chris. Quick question. I just tried a friend's very cheap guitar. Forgot how these feel. I noticed on high gain, everything except power chords sound muddy, dissonant, and generally bad. Is it the pickups or bad intonation? Oh, that sounds like it's both, right? The muddiness would come from the pickups, and the intonation and dissonance probably from, the dissonance probably from intonation problem. Sometimes it's just if the string height is really high, then, when you press the string down, you're actually going to go out of tune. Just think of it as like an arc, or how do you say it? You shoot the arrows, that kind of thing. If your string is that high and you push it down, it's just going to go super sharp just by the fact that you're pressing it down. So it's usually a combination of all of those things that make a cheap guitar bad. But the good news is pickups, you can be upgraded. There's a cost involved, but it's not like necessarily super high cost. And the other things can be done for super cheap. If you have the knowledge, you can do them yourself. Fix you string action, provided there's a truss rod, and also you can set the string action and also adjust the intonation at the bridge. So those can be fixed, but it's usually a combination between both. Okie dokie, okie dokie. So let's see here. Let's try. I wanted to try some other backing track. Maybe I'll search on my YouTube channel then. Yep, there we go. There we have it. I think we have some ballads here. Let's try. Let's try this one. Okay, we're gonna try this now. F sharp minor. Some free bends there. And you can see how closely I'm following the dynamics here. So I play soft when the backing track is soft. And then I increase a little bit when the backing track becomes louder. And I use the variation in dynamics to create phrases, as we spoke about. It's a little bit harder to really, hear the micro timing thing unless you have a very trained ear for that kind of thing. But I am doing it all the time here, and you can think of it as a way to consciously play a little bit just off beat or just a little bit wrong timing wise, and then find your way back. And then I did that all the time here in this example. Andre is asking, lovely touch and dynamics. Are you full analog? With how digital work these days, it's tough to tell. Yeah, you can really tell when you're playing usually, but it's kind of hard to hear when you're listening because digital is so good. The sound can a lot of times just be as nice, you know, or sort of. So I'm using full analog here, and it's really just like like a tube amp, right? And I have, I think I have, yeah, one pedal. I have slight compression before I hit the amp, but then it's just the clean channel of my Mesa Boogie Mark 5 amp. So that's pretty much what's generating the sound here. And I have a little bit of reverb and delay also. Okie dokie, where was I here? Where was I? Yes, Instagram. Hola amigo, gosto muito dos seus vídeos. Un excelente domingo para voce. Sorry man, I don't understand that, but I think you're saying some nice things to me, so gracias. Very happy to hear that. Cool. So if you want to try this out over the backing tracks I'm using, these are all from my backing tracks on my YouTube channel, and the playlist is called Chris Backing Tracks. You can see it here. Now I was thinking, do I have another one? Oh, this one should be kind of nice. C minor. Okay, I'm just gonna see if I can really show you the micro timing thing. That's an example of that, where I'm really off and then I find my way back into the timing. And there I did the same thing, but I also increased the dynamics. There you could clearly hear the dynamics. Now, a lot of times I will, the increase in dynamics is going to coincide with like an increase in being a bit ahead of the beat. So when I'm ahead of the beat, I play hard, and when I'm behind the beat, so a bit delayed or a bit late on the beat, then I play softly. Cool, you like the sound better now. Yeah, I adjusted it a little bit. Was it too loud perhaps before? Whoops. That's a good example of how I played soft and behind the beat. tune. That's a good sign. Probably done some bending. And of course, when the backing track gets loud, you typically want to get loud, and you typically want to be maybe a little bit ahead of it. Deucey, good to see you. I might remember your username. Not 100% sure. Sounds a little bit familiar, but good to see you again. Thanks for digging the tone, Desmond. How I slow down there. Deucey, did you? How long have you been following me? Is it from the Ultimate Guitar Days, perhaps, or did you find me on this YouTube channel? Maybe via the shorts? I don't know. Lots of different possibilities. Okay, so I'm gonna let you jam with C minor now, and I'll be back in a minute. Hey yo, I'm back. Oh, you find me on this channel. Cool. Glow Weighted on Twitch. What's up, my man? I'm always happy to see when I get a Twitch comment, because I barely have any followers on Twitch at all. Doing good, Glow Weighted. Okay, so let's see a little bit if we can keep on coming up with some cool stuff in C minor here. Sorry, Glow Weighted, I don't do any covers at all. I haven't done it for like decades, so I'm really crap at it. I just try to, help people build their own style, because that's the only thing I'm interested in. Sorry to disappoint. So if you just joined, you can watch the replay, and you're gonna find the topic of the day explained, where I basically teach you how to play in an expressive way with slow phrasing. And what I'm doing now is showing you the application of this lesson, and I'm trying at least to, as best as I can, use that kind of expressive playing and the technique I just broke down. So you can watch the replay and hopefully it'll all make sense. Doozy poo, so I think we've got 2 people on Twitch. That's freaking crazy. Awesome. Thank you, Glow Weighted, and thank you, Doozy poo. Cool, so Ken is saying he found a solution with the Xmer guitar. Without an amp and laptop, I used an old Bluetooth speaker and had connected with an aux cable. Wow, that's very cool, congratulations. So I bet it's a very different feeling to have real air moving in the room, so to speak. So you can hear how I'm trying to follow the dynamics here with the backing track. Whoops. Can you guys even hear this? Probably have my headphones on so I hear the exact thing as you guys. So I'm gonna see if I can find a different backing track here, perhaps. And Dark Chill Jam, that sounds like fun. B minor. Yes, Glow Weighted. I'm much more active on like YouTube, Facebook. So just search for Christopher Dahl, and my YouTube account should come up. Maybe I don't even have the link on Twitch, so I'll add a link in my bio there so you can find my other platforms. I just haven't thought about it because there hasn't been any people. Okay, so B minor. It's always hard with these electronic backing tracks. They're a lot of fun to produce, I think, but they don't necessarily work as well with a clean tone. Let's try this one. So these are all from my YouTube channel if you want to check them out. It's my playlist called Chris Backing Tracks. D minor. Thank you, Jimmy Page on YouTube. Much better when it's like an analog sounding backing track and not an electronic one. Oops, I forgot the key, D minor. Okay, Deucey Poo, have a good one. I like the fact that you're a duck. You're the first duck I've ever learned to know. Goods Dude from Instagram, what's up? No, Deucey Poo, I haven't thought about A sharp major. We'll see if the next one is. I'm rather looking for like an atmosphere in the backing tracks rather than a specific key. And I can't remember I've done much. These are all my own backing tracks because I don't want to get, Oh, Deucey Poo on Instagram, I can see you found me. Very cool. So I don't want to be, doing the... I lost it. Yeah, I don't want to be doing the... No, I lost it again. I don't want to get copyright issues, right, by using other people's backing tracks, so I just use my own. And I can't think of any in A sharp minor major that I've done. But who knows? Maybe I have, at some point. Kind of out with my bending there, but I never really stayed on any of those bad pitches, so maybe it worked out. I don't know. I'm Reza from Indonesia. What's up? Cool, guys. So this was a different kind of session. I haven't played with a clean tone for quite some time. So I hope you found it interesting and that the tips I've given you relating to slow phrasing and expressive and just making that one note sound good, I hope it's been useful to you. Oh, Dead Man's Wife, these live mornings are the best thing ever. Thank you so much. It means the world to hear. My heart beats for you. So, yeah, there'll be many more, of course. And as long as you follow me on any of my platforms, you should be notified and you should be good. So, yeah, but it's a pleasure being with you guys. Just keep being amazing, and I'm going to keep being Christopher.